You might have heard me say before that there are three key things that every property investor needs to do, three key tasks. And each of them are as equally important as the others. One thing which every property investor should be doing is protecting their investment. And that's why when you go out and about and you start looking at properties, it's always surprising when you see something like this. Because I took this video on a rainy day in Nottingham, and you can see that for the want of just putting a little bit of downpipe in to take the rainwater away, this whole flank wall is becoming soggy. It's probably been like this for years. In fact, I actually took this video 2 years ago and I went back to have another look the other day in the rain, and it's still exactly the same. So it's been leaking like this for at least 2 years, but probably much, much longer. And for the sake of just putting in a little bit of downpipe, whoever owns this property could save themselves an awful lot of problems. I mean, you can see that around the downpipe itself, it needs repointing. There's a big damp patch which probably goes inside, and at the very least it's probably making the plaster and the decorations soggy, but if it's anywhere near a timber floor, it could be creating rot problems. And it just doesn't need to happen. It would not take long or very much money to repair this downpipe. So why does this happen? Well, if the property is managed, then you would argue that it's the job of the managing agent to actually inspect the property regularly and to make sure that this kind of thing doesn't happen, or at least if it does, that they rectify it as quickly as possible. But clearly that hasn't happened. So we could have either a situation where there's no managing agent, or there's an incompetent managing agent, or it could be that the owner of this property has decided to manage the property themselves, and maybe they don't really know what they're doing. Maybe they thought, well, I'll save myself 10% of the rent by managing the property myself, but they haven't been out to look, or they don't know what to look for, or they don't know how to organise it, or they looked at it 3 years ago and made a note they needed to do it and then forgot all about it. We just don't know what has happened here, but what we do know is that the value of this property is being adversely affected by something which would take probably minutes to rectify if you've got somebody with a cherry picker or a ladder or whatever to go up there and just change this downpipe or add a bit of downpipe so that the water feeds properly into the hopper there. If you're interested in buying properties and you would like to know more about defects and how to spot them, then please check out my resource, which is called 63 Common Defects in Investment Property and How to Spot Them, in which I'll take you through how I view and inspect properties and how to look out for the main types of problems that you're going to find which are going to adversely affect a property. Now, this won't make you into a qualified chartered surveyor, but it will give you a bit of an edge when you're out viewing properties. By the way, I don't think you should view properties. I think you should inspect properties. Viewings are for people who want to go and check to make sure that the curtains are going to fit. Inspections are for proper investors who are making sure that the property is the type of property that they want to buy. And part of that is understanding the structure of the property and the condition of the property and what needs to be done to rectify any problems. Of course, to know what to do to rectify the problem, you have to first spot the problem. And that is the whole point of 63 Common Defects in Investment Properties and How to Spot Them. So I take you through step by step how I inspect properties. I'll even give you my template pro forma, which you can use to fill in on site to make sure that you don't miss anything. So if you want to check that out, I'll leave a link below, or come over to my website www.thepropertyteacher.co.uk and click on Learning with Peter, and you'll see a link there which will take you through to 63 common defects in investment property and how to spot them. If you found this video useful, please like, follow and subscribe, and then we can keep in touch and I can send you even more great content. And until next time, here's to successful property investing.